am back with another hip habit, and I'm Danielle Craig, the host of the Happiness and Progress podcast. Remember, we are following along the habits in the Hip Habits workbook. This is a 6-month workbook. There is a physical copy and a digital copy, and we are on week 2. Okay, so week 2 is break a habit. This is a lot harder than adding a habit. A lot of authors have written about this. We have James Clear, Charles Duhigg, and this all comes back to the habit loop. This is a little more complicated than adding a habit, right? You just grab something and you add it. Breaking a habit is harder because it's a habit, it's a routine. But I am going to try to take the process of dissecting the habit loop and put it into fewer than 5 minutes, because that is what I promise for these short hip habit episodes. Okay. First, let's understand what the habit loop is. It always begins with the cue, then you have a routine, and then you have a reward. The very first thing that you fill out on this habit loop is the routine. You already know what the habit is you want to break, so let's figure out what that is. I want to stop eating chocolate at 2 o'clock. Let's say that's the example. But there's so many. I want to stop scrolling on my phone after I get home from work. I want to this, I want to that, I want to this, I want to that. So let's figure out what our routine is. We already know. Ding, we got it. That's the habit we want to break. The next section is to figure out what our reward is. What is that routine giving me? So at 2 o'clock every day, I pull open my desk, I eat some chocolate, and I want to break that less desired habit. So I need to do some experimenting. I might want to try out, am I just hungry? Is that what's happening? Am I sick of looking at my screen? Do I just need a break from work? Do I want to talk to people? Do I need some socialization time? So I'm going to try out all of those things. So I got a plan for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? So 2 o'clock hits, Monday, it's Monday. I am going to try walking out of my office and talking to my colleagues. On Tuesday, at 2 o'clock, I'm going to try eating some carrot sticks. On Wednesday, I am going to try just taking a walk around the office. On Thursday, I am going to try maybe going to get a glass of water just to get that break. So in those 4 days, we've tested a lot of different rewards. We have tested the need for socialization. We have tested. We'll testify at the end of this once we break the habit, right? We have tested the need for a snack. We have tested the need for a break. We have tested the need to just be up on our feet and not looking at a screen. So we'll have a good idea of what is actually satisfying that need. After each test, wait about 15 minutes and see if you're still hungry for chocolate. If you are, that might be a hint that that's not exactly what you need at that moment. But the hope is at the end of the week, you'll have a clearer idea of what you actually need. Not chocolate, but maybe some more food. Maybe sometimes it's honestly just that action of hand to mouth. You probably have heard about this with smoking cases. Sometimes it's literally just that you need to be grabbing something and taking a bite. Charles Duhigg talks about the cue as the trigger. What triggers you to do this thing? And sometimes for my brain, it will literally be like, oh, it's 2 o'clock. I always do this thing at this time. After my morning meeting, I always eat a cheese stick. It's that's how my brain works. But one of the ways that you can do this, according to Charles Duhigg, is when that urge hits for you to do whatever that action of grabbing those chocolates or whatever your habit is, record 5 things: your location, your time, your emotional state, other people, and your immediately preceding action. So what did you just do? He says, as you track these, you should see a common thread. And as you identify that thread, then you have your cue. The amazing thing is, then you can create a plan. You know, when you're triggered, either by the time or whatever has happened, you're like, oh, I've been triggered. It's time for me to delve into the chocolate in my office. But I know the reward I'm actually looking for is to socialize. So I'm going to get up instead and I'm going to walk around and socialize and get back to work without adding all those, without adding that daily chocolate that I go for. Okay, this was just a little over 5 minutes, but it's a complicated topic. So I tried. You can find more in the Hip Habits workbook. There's a little sheet to kind of work that out yourself. But also, great books to read include Charles Duhigg's books, James Clear's Atomic Habits. I also just read, oh, dang it. I can't remember the name, but I will put it in the show notes because it's about anxiety and all about how anxiety is on a habit loop as well. So I will post that in the show notes as well. Thanks for being here.